An insurance representative lets himself be talked by a seductive housewife into a murder insurance fraud scheme that arouses the suspicion of an insurance investigator. Regarded by many professional critics as the quintessential film noir, and featuring in many greatest films ever lists, Double Indemnity is indeed a sharply written, deeply atmospheric, and densely plotted suspense thriller that is certainly deserving of its thick boy reputation. The plot is elaborate as aforementioned and is given gravity by the extensive research obviously put into the insurance industry of the time. It gives so much weight to the events that it's easy to get engaged despite how fast people talk. Speaking of which, even though he was miffed at being third billed, Edward G. Robinson is the best thing in a film filled with many best things. I never thought I would get so enthusiastic watching a guy being tricked into covering for a murderer, but Robinson is just simply that good in this film, running down his boss like he was a scientist who had just cured cancer, speaking to a man who had denied him funding. So good, so fun to watch. Double Indemnity is a fantastic film noir. It's a riveting example of the genre filled with tension, dark humour and good old-fashioned determinism. When discharged, Navy officer Johnny Morrison comes home from war to his old stomping ground in the Hollywood Hills. He is shocked to discover his wife Helen having an affair with the proprietor of the glamorous Blue Dahlia nightclub. But when Helen is murdered and Johnny is fingered as the prime suspect, he is forced to prove his innocence, aided by a woman harbouring a dark secret, the beautiful and enigmatic Joyce. An original screenplay by Raymond Chandler himself and starring Alan Ladd and Veronica Lake, The Blue Dahlia is a film noir that is not as a typical an example of the genre, and at times even delves into being a psychological thriller. This film did not do it for me. I believe that there were just way too many characters, way too many perspectives from where the story is being told to focus on any single one. It was very easy to get lost, especially without narration, where the story was, and I did. The Blue Dahlia still has that old Hollywood glamour about it, and is not without a gamut of interesting characters, but its structure feels messy and its premise not that interesting. A quirky but not exceptional film noir. Okay, let's get down to it. Double Indemnity is an absolute classic with everything a great suspense thriller needs, and The Blue Dahlia is an interesting but flawed cynical take on the soldiers returning home from war. Here's looking at you, Amalgorithm.